Hi, Eric. Tough result today. What did you think about the team's willingness to go for it in the second half?
I thought it was good. I think on the road, it's always really challenging in MLS. I think in these conditions against a team like that who likes to dominate the ball, I thought we gave a really good account of ourselves in the second half. I think even after the first 10 or so minutes, I thought we were pretty good in the game for the most part. I thought we had control. I thought we created chances. Obviously, they had a fair amount of shots, but I also thought that we in the second half had some really good chances to score. I think we hit the post 3 times, maybe it felt like, and some other big chances as well. So I think anytime you go on the road and can create chances like that is always a good sign.
All right, we'll do Adam next.
Eric, obviously a little bit tough just to have let me mute myself over here. A little bit tough when you have Christopher Velde playing on the right wing. How do you sort of build chemistry on the fly with him?
I don't think it's particularly tough, to be honest. I think he's a really good soccer player, so it makes it pretty easy to play with him. I think he's a different profile than some of the other guys we have. He's probably more similar to Anthony than Amati, where he's more of a slasher. He's a guy that likes to run behind, which is good. I think in the first half, in the early part of the second half, you saw him get that pocket run a couple times, kind of out, a little inside out run that we talk about and like to play, and did a really good job. I think works really hard defensively, which makes it easy. They present some challenges kind of with the rollout that they like to do. I thought he managed it really well with Jao on that side, so yeah.
All right, we'll do Sam next.
Hey, Eric. You're put in a tough spot starting for Juan Mosquera in this match. What were some of the messages that the coaches gave to you going into this game, and kind of how they expected you to play, and how did you feel you kind of executed that out there? Thanks.
Yeah, I found out late, obviously, that I was going to be starting, but this is my 12th year in MLS. I've played 200-something games, so if there's a guy that has to step in late, I'm happy to do it. I think in any position, it's always not going to be easy when you don't train with the guys that all week, but I think it just kind of speaks to you got to be professional. You got to be ready when called upon. Obviously, my role in the team this year is not going to start every week, but when you need to play, you need to be ready to go. I think that's kind of something that I try to uphold and try to be ready that whenever the opportunities come, you make the best of it and help the team in any way you can.
And the last question is going to be from Alex.
Hi, Eric. The Dynamo finished the match with 16 total crosses. It felt like Griffin Dorsey and Ollie on the left wing had a lot of time and space to deliver balls tonight. Just from your perspective, what was challenging about their game plan tonight?
I would say it kind of gets back to that roll-up thing we were talking about. So Jack McGlynn rolls out in that little half space. He does a really good job of it. Griffin Dorsey does a very good job of bombing on from that side. And they kind of just end up overloading you on that side. And it's challenging because you kind of have to either fight the temptation to jump out there and you kind of have to maintain your position, or you do jump out there and you sort of expose yourself a little bit. And I think that's when it's hot, when you're on the road and you just lay it 1 or 2 times, it can kind of build up slowly and then kind of build pressure, build momentum. And I think that stuff's always going to be challenging. They obviously have big targets too. Ponce and Linger are pretty good aerial threats. They're not the biggest guys, but they're sturdy and found their way into some crosses. But I think that's just the way that it's going to be against the Dynamo sometimes when you go on the road. I think it's better than giving up stuff through the middle. I think one of our team principles is you want to try to force stuff wide. And when you have players like Jack McGlynn and Griffin, they're just going to be able to create and get end line sometimes, and you got to be able to deal with it, which I think Finn and Zupa did a really good job of.